All right, what's up, guys? Good morning. Today's a beautiful day. We got this. Look at this. I mean, am I surprised? Nope. Now, I'm going to try to sit here and I'm going to debunk a bunch of bullshit, all right? Because there's just so much bullshit, right? Um, First of all, if you still, when you see a move like this, get surprised, like, oh, what the fuck? I mean, look, you haven't been in this game long enough. That's just what it is. I don't get surprised by this shit at all. I mean, I've seen dries, I've seen the whole shipping sector. That was the first year I was in the game. Now dries, I longed that bitch at like $90. I didn't know shit. I was like a month in. I was like 6 months in, maybe a year. I forgot how long I was, but I didn't know shit, right? And I was like, wow, this is what they could do. And ever since then, to be honest, that whole shipping craze, um, I was not surprised on what could happen, right? There's a whole thing about black swan. What is a black swan? Well, to me, and this is just my definition, there's many people that have different views on this, but I will explain my definition. For me, a black swan is simply an absolute disaster for shorts in the terms as you could get moves like this, right? It's not uncommon. The difference between this and just a huge run on like maybe a reverse split is that they bail shorts out. There's pullbacks that you could bail out, right? A lot of times they just fade all day, big run to 20 and then fade all day. A black swan to me is you're not getting bailed the fuck out. You're just not. There was no bailout, no big pull for you to get bailed out on. So to me, it's a test of discipline. That's all it is. Are they predictable? Nope. You could try it. I've tried it. If you have the answer, I would love to hear you out. Because then that's all you need to wait for. But it's not predictable. Um, so to me, the black swan definition is it's a trade that tests traders' discipline, takes out the weak hands, and it doesn't bail them out. Right? A lot of times, trader would hold without discipline and get bailed out, and then the one that comes, it just doesn't work, and that's when they get huge downswings, potentially owe their money, their broker money, or they're just gone. Right. Um, that's a black swan. Black swan is simply no pullback, no bailout. You're fucked. Right. Um. Now another thing I want to talk about is people saying it was. There's like a whole Twitter thing. Let me tell you something. I've been reading Twitter. I don't care what anyone says. The Twitter people, all I notice is everyone fucking agrees with each other because they all think the same, right? Like everyone posts, this isn't an obvious long. Let's see how many people post it, right? Obvious long. Well, to someone, it might have been a good long based on their system, right? If this was such an obvious short, why didn't it work, right? You could say that about anything, right? Who's the asshole? I bought it up here. Why? Why would you buy something up 800%? I don't know. Maybe it's part of my system. Now, does it matter if that trader's right or wrong? No. Only an idiot that literally knows nothing. I'll never, ever, ever, I mean, ever even agree with a trader when he says, well, how'd you know? I didn't. I had no idea this was going to go. But based on my system that I've been working on, it indicates it should go. Therefore, I take the trade. Do I know for a fact? No. Do you know for a fact down here it's a short or a long? No. But for someone it is. You can't argue that when there's a seller, there's a buyer. Everyone trades different. It's a fool's game, and you're an even bigger fool to try to sit here and figure it out and call people out on shit. That it's because it's not part of your system doesn't mean doesn't work. And that's the Twitter theory, right? The people over on Twitter always saying, "Obvious, here comes the obvious shorts, the obvious longs." Well, there are people that have edge over you. It's a real thing. Um, I mean, this is just common sense. A lot of it is common sense. So, right, people said here it's up too much, right? This is just the overly biased type of theory. It's up too much. The typical good old, the good old traders. They got smoked, right? And here we go. Add. Emotion. This is an emotional roller coaster of people with no discipline. That's all it is. You can say whatever you want, right? Let's predict them. Let's say I've been predicting this for 3 months. What does that do for you? Nothing. Maybe you could long it. But if you're predicting this for 3 months, you short it and still don't stop out. What are you doing? Instead of those 3 months of predicting when the next black swan, the unpredictable move happens, you should probably make sure that when it does happen, you're creating good habits during those 3 months instead of predicting when it's going to happen. Right? I mean, is this not common sense? I mean, this is how you should think. I don't care what anyone says anymore because I read shit and I just think people are full of shit and they sound stupid sometimes. Right? This the things people focus on in trading sometimes is and the way they try to talk about people being wrong and stuff in the market where it doesn't matter if you're wrong or right. It is what it is. People lose all the time and still make good money. So why did I long up here? Right? Why would you do that? It's up 800%. Well, because it's part of my system. Right? Does it make it right or wrong? Well, I didn't know it was going to work, but I had a probability that it should work. I mean, we could say that about CXAI and Top and all these other names. I mean, there's a whole bunch of them where it's like, well, it's just up too much. Well, I mean, what does that mean? I believe it was on this day here, 414. This is an IPO breakout. I believe it was after hours on 413 of 2023. And I'll show you again, right? I mean, it's just that people are really focusing on the wrong shit, right? Up too much. Well, what's up too much, right? What does that mean? What makes this, you know, a great short? What makes this a bad long? An obvious short, an obvious long. What does that even mean? It's just people like it's just like a thing where people gotta feel right. If you're wrong, they try to point fingers at you like you were wrong. But if you know how to just be wrong and just wrong when you're wrong, you're way better than the people that are pointing fingers right or wrong. Because those are the people that probably have an ego and they can't admit when they're wrong when shit doesn't work. These are the guys that are stuck here and they're still stuck. And it could potentially, if it wants, potentially this thing could go to 100. Not up too much, right? It could go to 100. I mean, or it could just fail, but it doesn't matter. The point is, what are you holding through, right? Um, so that's what a black swan is to me. I mean, there's just so much bad information out there. There's just a lot of debates and conversations on a whole bunch of fucking nothing. Right? And I'm not trying to be like a dick, but a whole bunch of nothing out there, honestly. But long did here, right? People are like, hindsight, everyone's like great trade, but when you tell people you longed it here, they think you're fucking crazy. Right? Well, what if I was wrong? I mean, I'm wrong. I cut it, right? Like that's what trading is. When you're wrong, you're wrong. When you're right, be really right. Don't be really wrong when you're wrong. Just be wrong, right? There's so many people trying to perfect the market. Like, you know how many people are going to go back through this, and I've done it as well in the past. Go back through this right now and try to figure out how to catch the next one, right? It's just people flock to the hottest thing, right? And that's what happened. Um, there's no right or wrong. It's just be wrong, not really wrong. Right? Yeah, I loaned this 800% to someone else's view. Oh, how'd you know it was such an obvious long? What the fuck do you mean obvious? There's no definitive answer of right or wrong in trading. If there was, and I knew for a fact it would work, I would put the house on it. Right? What did I do? Well, I had the system, right? And really, all I did was this. And you'd be surprised that it doesn't take a fucking genius to do this. Well, I took drug. And you want to see something even funnier? I could have took drug yesterday. After hours, I believe it went. Um, like 4:05. Started having some really strong relative strength into the close. Or time did it pop up? I was watching it. Is this 10:14? Um, it happened 4:10. I know it was on. I don't know where it was, but it did pop up on scans. But I don't know. But the point is, just don't think like a lot of these people. That's all I'm gonna say. Oh, the market just opened. It's up too much. Let's see what it does. We're gonna watch it for like a minute. But the point is, guys, just stop trying to perfect and master the market and try to be like right and wrong. You're wrong and you're right. Obvious short, obvious long. I mean, that shit is so. From a trader perspective that actually knows, you just sound like be completely blunt and honest. You sound like an idiot because when people think like that, you kind of already know where they're at. Like they haven't figured out yet that it really doesn't matter when you're wrong or right, as long as you just simply accept that you're wrong. I mean, any trader you talk to that has any experience, but if you say that shit's done this, it'd be like, we don't talk in definitive answers. You're either going to be right or wrong. There's no definitive answer. There's no guarantees. It's just probability. There's no like he was wrong. Haha, he's a bad trader. It's like, oh well, he's wrong, and he actually just knows how to be wrong. He's not over here saying this is a bad long, this is a bad short. He's just following the system, right? Unless you know everything about the market and everyone's setups and stuff like that, you don't know what's good or bad, right? Shorts thought this was great, and guess what? The longs were great. Therefore, actually, you were wrong, and the longs were right, right? To them, it's an obvious long. Maybe, right? To you, it's an obvious short. To them, it's a stupid short. So it's really just conflicting back and forth of people disagreeing and not agreeing on a price of what the stock should be at. That's basically what the market is, right? Um, that's all the market is. It's people just exchanging hands to agree if this price is fair or not, inflated or not. Inefficient, if there's an inefficiency, obviously this is an inefficiency, and it will go all the way back down. Question is when. So, I mean, that's just my opinion. I mean, it is what it is. Some people you really can't talk to because some people just they got all the answers, but they don't. All right. See what happens today. Take care.